Okay, hi everybody. Thank you all for being on my presentation. Um, Anna and Ashley, we both all had similar topics, so I apologize if it sounds kind of repetitive, but I think that just goes to show that this is a real policy that a lot of people think should be implemented. Okay, so as college students, we have all had days where we have been stressed out, mentally drained, or completely just burnt out from schoolwork. And the thought about going to class feels so overwhelming. Yet so many of us still choose to go, not because we feel well enough to learn, but because we're afraid of losing points that strict attendance policies face with us. According to the Healthy Mind Study, which is a national research project that surveyed students across more than 300 colleges campuses, over 60% of college students meet the criteria for at least one mental health concern. Anxiety, academic burnout, and depression are not rare experiences. They are common realities in higher education today that so many of us face. Students should not have to choose between protecting their well-being and protecting their grade. I personally have had days where I have felt extremely overwhelmed by assignments, exams, studying, and other responsibilities that everyone faces in their day-to-day life. But I've still felt pressure to attend class because I didn't want my grade to drop. And I know that I'm not alone in that experience. These situations are not about laziness or avoiding responsibility. They're about real stress and real mental strain that so many college students face. When students push through severe stress without a short reset, it often makes academic performance worse, not better. Today, I will be calling on the University of South Carolina's Faculty Senate to amend the current attendance policy to allow one excused mental health absence per semester in order to protect student well-being while maintaining academic standards. There are three main reasons why I feel this change is necessary. One, mental health directly affects academic performance. Two, our current policies create a gap between wellness support and academic expectations. And three, a structured mental health absence policy has already been implemented at peer institutions without lowering academic standards, proving that the University of South Carolina can do the same. Mental health is not separate from academic performance. It directly impacts it. According to the American College Health Association's National College Health Assessment, which is a nationwide survey that gathers data from thousands of college students across the country, 75% of students report experiencing psychological distress. That distress has been linked to lower GPAs in students, students missing assignments, decreased concentration, and even withdrawing from courses. This is not a hypothetical fact, it's a measurable academic impact. When students are experiencing intense anxiety or burnout, forcing attendance does not automatically improve learning. In fact, it can reduce productivity, comprehension, and engagement. If our goal as a university is academic excellence, then we must acknowledge that mental health stability is directly connected to academic success. The University of South Carolina states that it prioritizes student well-being. However, our policies that we currently have do not fully reflect that commitment. According to the University of South Carolina's Counseling and Psychiatry Services website, also called CAPS, they provide counseling, crisis intervention, and mental health consultations for students that are in distress. This demonstrates that the university already recognizes the seriousness of mental health challenges. However, the official attendance policy on their website says that excused absences are typically verified for only significant medical conditions, and the attendance decisions are left up to individual professors. That creates a policy gap. The university supports mental health treatment, but there's no formal recognition of short-term mental health strain within that attendance policy. If USC prioritizes students' wellness through CAPS, then the attendance policy should explicitly reflect that value and allow students to take a day off for their own mental health and excuse students from class for mental health reasons. A single excused mental health absence would allow students to take a brief reset before stress escalates into a larger academic or personal crisis. Now, I understand that some faculty members may worry that allowing excused mental health absences could increase absenteeism or weaken academic standards. However, a structured policy would actually address those concerns, not create them. This proposal is not unlimited flexibility. It would be one absence per semester that would be excused. It would be structured and consistent across all departments. It would still require communication with individual instructors, and it would still require completion of missed work. Students would remain responsible for making up their assignments or quizzes or coursework according to the guidelines of the instructor. The policy does not remove accountability, it simply formalizes one protected absence to prevent larger academic decline and to protect the well-being of students. Creating a university-wide policy would improve fairness and consistency. Currently, attendance policy vary very widely across courses. Some professors are flexible, while others enforce strict penalties. A standardized policy ensures equal treatment across departments. By limiting the absence to one per semester, the risk of abuse is minimal, while the benefit to student wellness is very high. Importantly, this is not just theoretical. Other universities have successfully already implemented a very similar policy. According to reporting from Inside Higher Ed, which is a respected national higher education publication, UNC Chapel Hill implemented structured mental health breaks into their academic calendar in 2024. Administrators explained that these breaks were intentionally designed to allow students to rest and reset. They did not lower academic expectations, and they did not reduce course rigor. Instead, the goal was to proactively reduce stress while maintaining standards. UNC Chapel Hill is a peer institution comparable to USC in academic expectations and reputation. If they can integrate structured mental health support without sacrificing rigor, then USC can adopt a similarly limited and responsible policy. This shows that the policy is realistic, achievable, and academically sound. Mental health challenges are present for so many students on our campus and all across the country, and they direct influence academic performance and long-term success. Today, I have shown that mental health directly impacts academic outcomes. USC already prioritizes wellness through their counseling and psychiatry services, but the attendance policy does not fully reflect that commitment. Peer institutions like UNC Chapel Hill have also implemented structured mental health policies without lowering their standards. Therefore, I urge the Faculty Senate to amend the attendance policy to allow one excused mental health absence per semester. This change would align academic policies with wellness commitments, maintain accountability, improve consistency across departments, and protect student well-being. USC can be proactive in supporting student success rather than reactive in addressing student crises. Students shouldn't have to choose between their mental health and their grade. Thank you, everybody. That was the end. So I know that we already kind of had like a similar conversation and all the questions. So I guess I'll just ask like, do you guys feel like you have been like supported? I mean, obviously just like with like any resources, student success, or just like the resources on campus and the current policies that we have.
I feel like there's a ton of like resources and stuff available on campus, but I feel like the attendance policy isn't necessarily made for students to be able to like benefit
Yeah.
because it's like the way I feel it is like if I'm just like really stressed and I like really just need like a day to relax, and then the attendance policy is like you're gonna lose points off your grade, you can't miss a class.
Yeah, it
So
doesn't
I feel
really
like they're
like
really, it's like there's
yeah.
plenty of resources if we were to have the day like you suggested.
Yeah,
But because we don't right now, I feel like us students can't necessarily take advantage of all of them.
I agree.
I would say the same thing with like professors, especially with tests and stuff. Like if
Hmm.
you try to go with them, like go to them with like a valid excuse, like someone in my family died, or I wasn't, feeling the best, like mentally or physically, they're just gonna look at you and be like, well, all right, that's not my
Yeah,
problem.
figure it
And it's
out.
like what do you want me to do? Like,
I
so I
know.
think your policy would provide like that help that needs to be talked about, especially within the school.
Um, oh, sorry.
Uh, I'd have a question for you that sort of builds off of that, what
Okay.
Anna just said. So what would constitute like a valid excuse for a mental health day? Just because,
Well,
like, obviously, if your
yeah.
like sister dies or something, that's fair. But if I just wake up feeling bad, then
Well, I think
like,
that the
would that be
point would be like
excused?
it's up to like the student's discretion. So many things happen in like everybody's lives, and sometimes like Ashley and Anna both said in their speeches that like sometimes you just need a day, whether it be just because you like didn't get enough sleep, something happening in like your personal life, I think that like the discretion would just be on the students and it's like up to them and their responsibility to like choose it wisely when it would be. And also like with that, like Ashley said, like communicating it with like through the advocacy center or like with professors to like make up any work, but it would just be like based on the students' discretion.
Okay.
Does anybody have anything else?
I have another question. I know this was kind of covered like whenever like I did like my speech in my like discussion section,
Mhm.
but like do you kind of think like do you think if like students like use the absence like they should have to go to like the like CAPS or like the health center and like go through like their psychiatry
I
or
don't
like
think so. I
Mhm.
mean, like I understand that like that's like the whole point of like the counseling is like to like help students that are in distress. Um, and I feel like it should definitely like even that should be more like normalized because I know that like there's a lot of students that like probably do face things and they don't really feel like they have the support that they need. So I feel like it could be like a suggestion, like it should like give them the link and the resources like when they're gonna use their day to be like, okay, like here you can the resources here if you need it, but like it I don't think that it should be a requirement because I think that there's so many like other factors that like go into like somebody's like well-being.
On,
Oh, go
sorry.
ahead.
On top of that, like that process of like going and talking to psychiatry and like that's not provided with the school. Like it's provided through the school, right? But you have to
Hmm.
like put in your insurance information and you're talking
Yeah.
to a real like doctor, real
Yeah, exactly.
psychiatrist. And so like in my
It's hard
opinion,
for
I
some
don't think
people.
you can require that because um they're
Some,
gonna have to pay for those services.
yeah.
And then that's just going to turn people away, especially.
Exactly.
I
Make
mean,
it
if
more
someone really
difficult.
needs it and they're someone to seek out help and it really needs it and is willing to help or willing to get help will
Hmm.
be willing to pay for it.
Yeah,
But people
exactly.
that are won't accept that they need help or won't accept the fact that like they want to talk to somebody, they're going
Hmm.
to be like, you can't force me to get this done.
Yeah, I
So
completely agree.
I think that was a good point.
I agree.
What drew you to like decide to talk about this topic?
Well, I guess just like the topic of mental health. Like I was a psych major last year. I'm not anymore, but it's still something that I like value deeply. And um, like I've seen people like struggle and like not be in their best headspaces and still having to go to class. And I just thought that like our current attendance policy just doesn't really like reflect that. And I feel like it would be a good idea to have. Okay, anything else? Okay, well, thank you guys for participating and listening to me. I'm gonna stop it. Wait, how do I?